Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Becomes Draconic Eminence of Shadows Part 2. Before we start, please go support Issei Lucifer for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Chapter 3. Time skip 6 years. 6 years have passed and Issei is 12 years old, Zalek is 14 years old, and now was 14 years old as well. During these 6 years many important things happened, including a life-changing event. Firstly, after spending time at their grandparents and hearing their wise words, the relationship between Issei and Zalek was somewhat mended and the hatred for each other dissipated to a lesser degree. Also, Irina and her family left Japan and went back to England. Her father was a skilled and respected exorcist and he was needed there. Before leaving she had one last sleepover with Issei, now, and Zalek, then Issei and his family said goodbye to them at the airport. All the children cried, except Zalek, he was trying to look tough. Mickey and Erica gave each other hugs and exchanged a few recipes and other things, while Goru and Taoji hugged and shook hands for one last time. Taoji gave Goru his knife collection as a farewell gift. When Irina and her family left, Issei was 7 years old, Zalek was 9, and so was now. The Haidu family and Shidu family had known each other for only a year, and yet they had a huge impact on each other. Sometime later on in the year, Issei and his siblings' grandfather, Juzo, died. It was a heartbreaking thing that happened to the Haidu family and those who knew him. Juzo was loved by nearly everyone, so losing him left a giant hole in their family and the community where Issei's grandmother lived, now all alone. Time skip present day. Currently Issei can be seen walking with his two best and only friends, Motohama and Mitsuda. Motohama: "Hey guys, wanna come over to my place? There's this cool game I got the other day, it's called Assassin's Creed." Issei: "Assassin's Creed, what's it about? It sounds interesting." Mitsuda: "Yeah, I agree, tell us. What's it about?" Motohama: "It's basically a cool assassin game where you have to do a bunch of missions and stuff. I haven't played it myself yet, I've only read about it. But I think it'll be really good, trust me on this." Mitsuda: "Sure, I'll come over, if you think it's a good game then it's good. I trust your opinion. And then after that we can you know." Motohama: "Oh, you got it." Mitsuda: "Yep, I sure did, it cost a bit more than the other, but I got it." Motohama: "Awesome Issei, you're coming with us, right?" Issei: "Yeah, no doubt, Motohama. Mitsuda: "Issei, are you ow?" Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda were shoved onto the ground by someone. As Issei lifted his head to see who it was that had pushed him and his friends down, a shoe came slamming down on his face, mercilessly pinning it against the hard surface. The person who was doing it was Zalek and his friends. Zalek: "Stay down, filthy perverts," he said as he smeared his shoe on Issei's face. Zalek and his friends laughed. Issei's heart pounded with a mixture of fear and anger as he struggled to free himself from the weight of Zalek's shoe. His blood boiled at the audacity and cruelty of these bullies. Motohama and Mitsuda, equally outraged, tried to come to Issei's aid, but Zalek's friends held them back, their sinister grins widening with sadistic satisfaction. Zalek: "What's wrong, can't speak?" He increased his weight in Issei's face, making Issei grunt in pain. Issei: "Gee, get off of me." Zalek: "I can't hear you, speak up a little louder." Issei: "I said get." Issei was cut by a hard kick to his face. Issei held his face in pain, then Zalek kicked him in his gut. Motohama: "Issei, leave him alone, jerks." Mitsuda: "Why do you keep picking with us? We did." Motohama and Mitsuda were cut off when Zalek's friends punched them in the face repeatedly. Despite that, Motohama and Mitsuda kept trying to break free so they could help Issei. The blows landed with brutal force, leaving the two boys dazed. Even then they kept trying. Zalek: "Oh, how adorable, your pathetic friends are pathetically trying to save a piece of trash like you." Issei: "Stop hurting them." Zalek: "And why should I? There's nothing you can do about it and no one at school is gonna mind either, filthy perverts," he said with a sadistic grin, kicking Issei in his gut. Sometime early this year Zalek found out that Issei was a pervert. It happened when one day he was snooping in Issei's room to find something that could get Issei in trouble, and then he inadvertently found a secret stash of porn magazines and a few other of explicit material. Zalek couldn't believe his eyes and a wicked plan began to form in his twisted mind. He knew that exposing Issei's secret would not only humiliate him, but also tarnish his reputation in the entire school. With a wicked glint in his eyes, Zalek had gathered his lackeys and a few people he considered friends and devised a scheme to publicly shame Issei. Unfortunately for Issei, the schemes worked, and while it is true Issei is indeed a pervert, he wasn't open about it. So when Zalek exposed it, a lot of people in school didn't want to associate with him anymore, especially the girls. Very few even looked at him, let alone spoke. One of the reasons why Zalek was about to succeed in tarnishing Issei's reputation is because he was more popular than Issei and had a bunch of lackeys. Issei, the once vibrant and carefree boy, became the target of scorn and ridicule. Issei's friends, Motohama and Mitsuda, stood by him through it all, refusing to abandon him. They even announced that they were perverts. Issei was their best friend, practically like a brother, and they'd be damned if anyone thought they weren't gonna stand by him. As Issei and his friends kept being beaten up by Zalak and his friends, a certain Redeed walked up. Her name was Malti Damasu. Malti? Zalak, what are you doing? Zalak. Oh hey Malti, I was just teaching my filthy perverted brother and his friends here a lesson. We heard that they were trying to peep at some girls. Malti. Good grief, it's such a shame you have to be related to such a weak perverted idiot. Zalak. Tell me about it. He said as he casually kicked Issei in his groin and then kicked him aside. Issei winced in pain as Zalak's foot made contact with his groin, causing him to curl up in agony. He couldn't help but cry, the pain was too much. The physical pain was nothing compared to the sting of betrayal from his own brother. Even within his own family, he was an outcast and it was all because of Zalak. Zalak ruined everything for Issei. He hated Zalak, he hated him so much, but Issei was far too weak to do anything. Even now he couldn't help his best friends who were trying to stand up for him. Motohama and Mitsuda, though battered and bruised, exchanged a glance of disbelief. They couldn't fathom how anyone could be so heartless, especially to their own brother, but that's how Zalak was. Malti's presence only added fuel to the fire, her words laced with venom and disdain. Malti. You truly are a disgrace, Issei, she sneered. I can't believe I ever associated myself with a despicable pervert like you. Malti's eyes lingered on Issei's crumpled form, with a twisted smile. Motohama. Shut your mouth stupid whore, the only thing that's a disgrace is you. Malti. What did you just call me? Mitsuda. Yeah, that's right bitch, just because someone is a pervert doesn't mean you get to. Mitsuda screamed in pain. Malti had walked over to them and kneed them in their groin, while Zalak's friend held them in place. Malti's malicious grin widened as she reveled in the pain she had inflicted on Motohama and Mitsuda. The two boys fell to their knees, clutching their injured groins, gasping for air. Her eyes glowed with a sadistic pleasure, relishing in the power she held over them. Issei gritted his teeth, he wanted to fight back, but he couldn't. He couldn't understand why Zalak was doing this. Issei had been trying to be a good brother, and here Zalak was treating him like dirt. All he could do was bear through the pain like usual, and hope something would happen that would make Zalak and Malti leave. Issei's wish was granted, but not the way he wanted, in fact it hurt more than Zalak abusing him. Hey Zalak, a voice shouted out. Issei recognized that voice and hearing it filled him with immense hatred and sadness. The voice belonged to a guy named Ren who was one of Zalak's best friends. Ren was a cocky and arrogant guy, he also had a handsome face and was quite athletic. He always strutted around with an air of superiority. Ren's handsome face fooled nearly everyone into thinking he was good, including the teacher and principal. But his true nature proved otherwise. He enjoyed the power he felt from belittling others. His athletic prowess only fueled his sense of entitlement, allowing him to effortlessly dominate any situation he encountered. He prided himself on his wit and charm, using them as weapons to manipulate and control those around him. He thrived on exploiting the vulnerabilities of those unfortunate enough to cross his path, weaving intricate webs of deceit and control. No one was safe from his toxic influence, as he reveled in the chaos he sowed. Ren believed he was invincible, immune to any consequences for his actions. And walking beside him was a girl that Issei had a crush on, her name was Murayama. Murayama, Ren. Hey, Zalak, we're still set to go to the movies right? Zalak. Yeah for sure. While Zalak and Ren were talking, Murayama noticed Issei under Zalak's foot and looked at him with disdain. Issei could feel Murayama's piercing gaze as it bore into him, her disdain cutting through him like 1,000 knives. Issei's heart sank as he watched Murayama turn away, her once warm and friendly demeanor had long been replaced with an icy indifference whenever she saw Issei. She and Caddis were good friends with Issei, but when his perversion was exposed by Zalak that changed everything. Zalak had quite a way with words, so he made sure Issei's reputation was tarnished in the most degrading manner. After that, Murayama and Caddis stopped speaking to Issei, they'd have never imagined he'd be a disgusting pervert. This of course was a part of Zalak and Ren's plan. Ren liked Murayama, but she didn't pay attention to him because she secretly liked Issei, so when Malti found out she told Ren, and that helped get Issei out of the way. Seeing Murayama with Ren hurt Issei deeply, he shed some tears. Meanwhile Malti was enjoying Issei's misery, she was getting turned on by it. Losing interest in further tormenting Issei and his friends, Zalak walked away accompanied by Ren and Caddis. Malti followed suit, but not before delivering a painful kick to Issei's groin. Finding satisfaction in her cruel act, she finally left. As they departed, Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda lay there, writhing in both physical and emotional pain. Issei couldn't help but cry, utterly exhausted by Zalak's constant interference that ruined every aspect of his life. Issei's existence had become an unending cycle of misery and isolation. The torment he endured both at home and school had deeply wounded his spirit, leaving him longing for an escape from this seemingly never-ending nightmare. The constant disregard from his family, particularly his sister now, carved a painful void within him. Whenever his family organized outings, they purposefully excluded Issei, leaving him with a meager share of food. He was treated as an inconvenience, an unwanted burden they wished to discard. This only fueled his resentment towards Zalek. School life was no different. Driven by sadistic pleasure and aiming to impress the girls or out of envy towards Issei's former popularity among his female classmates. Most of the male students in school resorted to physical violence, they took every opportunity to belittle and humiliate him. Issei was constantly treated like shit, there were times when he was forced to lick the shoes of the boys, his head was shoved in a toilet occasionally, and it was sometimes full of shit and piss. But it wasn't just the boys who enjoyed Issei's suffering. Zalek, with his cunning and manipulative ways, orchestrated scenarios that painted Issei as a villain. He spread rumors of Issei's alleged peeping incidents, worsening Issei's already tarnished reputation, especially among the girls. Even though Issei had never laid eyes on them inappropriately, Zalek's scheme succeeded in turning their anger and fists against him. All Zalek had to do was have someone else do the peeping and just blame it on Issei, it was quite simple. And if need be, Malti would lie on his behalf. Issei's body trembled with a mixture of pain and humiliation as he lay on the ground, his tears staining the concrete beneath him. The relentless torment he endured from Zalek and his crew had taken its toll on him, both physically and emotionally. The world seemed to be closing in on him, suffocating him with its cruelty. His friends, Motohama and Mitsuda, struggled to lift their battered bodies, their faces etched with anguish. They too had become victims of this never-ending nightmare, all because they associated themselves with Issei, but they didn't care. They were friends and friends don't turn their backs on each other, especially in times of great need. Motohama. Come on Issei, let's go. He said as he and Mitsuda helped Issei to his feet. Issei. What's the point? Mitsuda. Huh? What are you talking about? Issei. Why do I keep living? What's the point if I'm just going to be tortured and suffer like this? I try to be a good person, but no matter what it fails and bites me in the ass. Issei's voice trembled, weighed down by the gravity of his emotions. I can't take it anymore, every day, it feels like I'm drowning in this never-ending darkness. I used to believe in the goodness of people. I used to have dreams, ambitions, but now it all feels so pointless. What's the use of striving for happiness when all I find is despair? Why keep going if the world only knows how to tear me apart? Maybe I should just kill myself. His voice began shaking even more. It's not like anyone will miss me, my own parents hate me, now hates me. Slap. Issei was shocked, Motohama and Mitsuda had just slapped him. Issei looked up at them bewildered, and then they slapped him again. Motohama. Are you coming to your senses yet? Issei. Wah. Slap. Motohama and Mitsuda slapped him again, then Mitsuda grabbed Issei by his shirt. Mitsuda. What the hell is wrong with you? Huh? Talking about suicide, you're not the Issei. How do we know? How are you gonna be harem king if you're dead? Huh? And don't you dare say you're giving up on your dream. Our dream, even if we can't have a harem, it doesn't matter so long as one of us achieves it. This isn't you Issei, you always fight back, you never back down or give in to threats, you always get back up when you get knocked down, so wake the hell up. Slap. Motohama. Yeah Issei, no matter what, we're with you to the end. He paused for a moment and clenched his fist. Even if it means dying virgins, then so be it. No matter what, we won't abandon you. There's no person I'd rather die with than with you and Mitsuda. And that's a fact that'll never change, I swear on my life and porn collection. If you give up now, you'll just be doing what Zalek and Ren want. We know that seeing that jerk dating Murayama and Caddis and her not speaking to you hurts, but you gotta move on. Issei, you're our friend, and we'll stick with you to the bitter end. Even if the whole world turns against you, we'll always have faith in you, and we'll help you. Motohama. Mitsuda. That's a promise you can count on. Mitsuda. Besides, we exposed our perversion so you wouldn't be all alone, we share the same burden as you. So you can't give up on us now, we're in this to the end. So what do you say, future harem king Issei Haidu? Our friend, no, our brother in all but blood. He said as he and Mitsuda held out their hands. Issei could feel his friend's words sinking in, breaking through the cloud of despair that had consumed him. The weight on his shoulders began to lighten, replaced by a surge of determination. His eyes, once filled with hopelessness, now flickered with a renewed fire. Taking a deep breath, Issei grabbed their hands, then they helped him up. He looked into his friend's eyes, gratitude and determination shining in his gaze. Issei. Thank you, guys, he said, his voice steady and resolute. I needed that wake-up call. I won't let this darkness consume me anymore. You're right, I can't give up. Motohama. That's the spirit, Issei, we knew you had it in you. Otherwise we would have kept slapping you until you came back to your senses. Issei. We may not have a harem, but that doesn't mean we can't strive for our dreams, Issei declared, his voice filled with newfound determination. I won't let anything or anyone stand in the way of becoming harem king. Together, we'll overcome every challenge, every setback. And one day, we'll look back and laugh at how far we've come. And most importantly, we'll get revenge on Zalek, Malti and Ren. Motohama. Yeah, definitely that Malti bitch. Mitsuda. We're with you all the way, Issei. Issei. Just you wait, Zalek, I'm gonna make you and everyone else who's wronged me and my friends pay. I don't care how long it takes, I swear I'll make you suffer. With their unwavering support, Issei felt a surge of confidence coursing through his veins. He knew the path ahead wouldn't be easy, but he also knew that as long as he had his friends by his side, they would face any adversity head-on. As the three friends stood there, united in their resolve, a newfound sense of purpose filled the air. The world may have turned against them, but they were ready to defy the odds and carve their own destiny. The journey to becoming the harem king would be rough, but Issei and his loyal friends were determined to make it one hell of a ride. Motohama. Let's go to my place and rest up there, we can also get something to eat, since I kind of threw up my lunch. Mitsuda. Yeah, I did too, those guys hit way too hard. You're coming right, Issei? Issei. Yeah, if I go home Zaleker now might beat me up, let's go. He said as they started walking in the direction of Motohama's house. Mitsuda. Wait, now beats on you too, Issei. Yeah, occasionally, it kind of depends if I make her really mad, and what Zalek did 2 weeks ago made her really hate me. I was beat up by her and her friends, all because Zalek framed me for peeping on her. I'd never do that, she's my sister, I can't believe they fall for that stuff. Motohama. Well, he is more popular than us and older. Not to mention, he has a bunch of lackeys to do his dirty work, he said, pushing up his glasses. And since he has multi, it's easier for him to lie. Plus, since he's the same age as your sister, they probably view you as an immature brat. Oftentimes, younger individuals are overshadowed by older ones and viewed with little regard. Lastly, he has Ren, who's also popular like him. So practically, for us, it's wolves versus pups or wolves versus sheep. And just to be clear, they're the wolves. Issei. You've got a point there, Motohama, but there's gotta be something we can do to fix this. We can't give up. Us being perverts by itself is one thing, but those disgusting rumors he spread make it worse. Mitsuda. Yeah, but it's a shame your sister is so cruel. I mean, she's attractive. She has decent-sized breasts, a nice figure, and, Issei. Mitsuda, focus. Issei's face flushed with a mix of embarrassment and frustration as Mitsuda's description of his sister echoed in his mind. Mitsuda. Right, sorry. This is important. Ahem, well, one thing we definitely need to address is our physical weakness. We may have brains, which is good, but we seriously lack in the muscle department. That's something Zalek, Ren, and his lackeys have. We practically have no way of defeating them. Motohama. You're right, Mitsuda. Physical strength is definitely something we need to work on. Zalek and his crew are practically built like tanks. His brows furrowed as he considered the predicament they found themselves in. Issei. We'll have to work out every day whenever we can, that's the only way we'll get stronger. Unless you guys any other have an ideas, I'm all ears. Mitsuda. Unfortunately I don't have another idea, I agree with you, Issei, working out is the only way. Motohama. But we're forgetting two crucial things. Mitsuda. Huh, what are you talking about? Motohama. Issei. Yeah, what are we possibly forgetting? Motohama. First off, we need to develop a workout schedule, everyone needs a one, even professional athletes and basketball players have workout schedules. That way they can optimize their training and ensure they are targeting all the necessary muscle groups. We can't just randomly hit the gym and expect results. Issei. You're right, Motohama. We can't just go in blindly and hope for the best. We need a well-rounded routine that focuses on strength, endurance, and agility. Mitsuda. I suppose we should also think about our individual strengths and weaknesses. Not everyone has the same physical abilities, so when we do the workout schedule we need to make sure it's something that we'll be able to do. Motohama. Exactly, Mitsuda. We need to identify our strengths and weaknesses and work on improving them. That way, we can support each other and become a stronger team overall. We'll be able to have a fighting chance against Zalek and that cocky bastard Ren, I can't wait to smash their faces in. Issei. Alright, then, early tomorrow morning before school we'll try to figure out what our current fitness levels are and then we can go from there. Motohama. I'll take responsibility for designing the workout plan. And you two can research different exercises and techniques that can help us improve in specific areas. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here, there's plenty of knowledge out there we can tap into. Mitsuda. Got it, Issei. But first let's get something to eat before doing all that thinking, we're almost at your house. Motohama. Motohama. Not so fast, we still haven't dealt with the other thing. Issei. Mitsuda. The other thing. Motohama. I mentioned there were two things that we were forgetting, remember? He said, pushing up his glasses. The first thing we forgot was how we were going to work out, the second thing is. Where are we gonna work out? Doing push-ups and stuff isn't enough, we're gonna have to lift some weight eventually. Some heavy iron. If Zalek, Ren, Multi, or even Murayama finds out we're working out trying to get stronger everything will be a waste, who knows what they'll do. Issei. You're right, Motohama. We can't just work out openly and risk exposing our plans to our enemies. We need a secret and secure location where we can train without anyone finding out. Sai, how could I forget that? Mitsuda. Yeah, I should have thought about it as well, I'm such an idiot. Motohama. Don't feel bad, that's why we're a team. One person can't think of everything. Issei. Motohama. Right, Issei. So where are we gonna work out? I might be able to help with that. Said a feminine voice. Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda turned around, startled by the sudden presence. They hadn't noticed the girl who had managed to sneak up behind them. To make matters worse, she was friends with the kendo duo Kadis and Murayama and she had heard their plan. Issei. Aika, where did you come from? Aika. Oh, I have my ways, you never know when I might appear. But that's beside the point. I overheard your conversation and I couldn't help but be intrigued by your secret training plans. Motohama. What do you want, Aika? We can't trust you. You're friends with Kadis and Murayama, who are part of Zalek's crew. You're here to spy on us, aren't you? And now that you heard our plans you're gonna go snitch, aren't you? Mitsuda. Well, we won't let you, Motohama. Let's tackle her and then Issei can tie her up. Issei. Guys, wait, he tried to warn them, but it was too late. They both lunged at Aika, but she simply stepped aside, effortlessly avoiding their clumsy attempts to tackle her. Motohama and Mitsuda ended up hitting their faces on a street lamp. As Issei watched Motohama and Mitsuda crash into the metal pole, he couldn't help but cringe at their failed attempt to tackle Aika. Aika. You guys really need to work on your reflexes. How can you possibly expect to beat Zalek? But don't worry, I'm not here to spy on you or report your plans to anyone. In fact, I want to help you. Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda exchanged skeptical glances, unsure of whether to believe her or not. Aika's association with the kendo duo had raised their suspicions, but something about her calm demeanor made them pause. Issei. Why should we trust you, Aika? You're friends with Murayama and Kadis, and they're connected to Zalek's crew. Aika. I understand your concerns, but I swear that I want to help you. You see, I may be friends with Kadis and Murayama, but I'm not friends with Zalek in any way. I know all about Zalek's schemes and how even though you Issei are a pervert, you didn't peep on the girls, especially not your own sister. Everyone in school including the teachers are fooled by Zalek and his deception, but I didn't believe him for a minute because I know that's not how you are, Issei. Issei's eyes widened in surprise, unsure of how to react. Motohama and Mitsuda exchanged bewildered looks. They had tried to convince everyone at school several times, but no one believed them. And here was Aika saying she believed him. Issei. What makes you say that? A part of Issei's heart hoped Aika was telling the truth, but he wasn't about to get his hopes up just to have them dashed down. Aika's gaze softened as she spoke. Aika. I've been watching you three from a distance, and I know for a fact that you're innocent. All of the rumors Zalek has spread are fake. I can't stand by and watch as he manipulates everyone, tarnishing your reputation in the process. Issei, I don't know why Zalek hates you, but I do know he's a selfish prick that lies to pick on the weak, and he's a deceiver. Motohama. But why? Why go through all this trouble for us? Aika's expression turned serious, her eyes filled with determination. Aika. Because I believe in justice, and I believe in standing up for what's right. Zalek may have everyone fooled, but I refuse to let him get away with his deceit. Besides, who's gonna stop Zalek and his lackeys from repeating what they're doing to you to others? Mitsuda. Alright, let's say we believe you. What can you possibly do to help us? Motohama. Yeah, give us one good reason we should trust you and not tackle you and then tie you up. Aika. First off, you can't tackle me. Your reflexes are top sloppy, all you'll do is end up hurting your heads more. Secondly, I can help you guys train. Issei. How are you going to do that? Aika. Well, my uncle is a certified personal trainer. I used to be around him during his work with his clients, so I'm practically a certified one myself. Besides, my place has a large garage for you to train. After Aika finished speaking, it was silent as she waited on the boy's answer. After a few moments, Mitsuda spoke up. Mitsuda, alright, Aika. We'll give you a chance. Motohama. Hold it, we can't just trust her word, for all we know Zalek and them could be. Aika. I'll give you my allowance for the next 6 months. Issei. Motohama. Mitsuda. Huh, Aika. If things go wrong, I'll give you my allowance for 6 months. You'll be able to buy as much porn as you want. Motohama. Ahem, so how much is this allowance of yours? Aika. $200. Issei. Motohama. Mitsuda. $200. Aika. You guys don't get that much. You at least get $100, right? Issei. Motohama. Mitsuda. No, Issei. I barely get $10. Motohama. I only get $15. Mitsuda. I get $30. Aika. Oh, my bad. So do you. Issei. Motohama. Mitsuda. Yes, we'll trust you. Aika. Wow, that was a quick turn of events. Those guys are practically desperate for money, but at least I'll be able to help Murayama and Kadis. You're gonna meet up tomorrow morning before school, right? Issei. Yeah, at about 6 AM. Aika. Just drop by my place tomorrow and we can begin. Mitsuda. but we don't. Aika. Check your back pocket. Mitsuda. Huh? He reached into his back pocket and pulled out a piece of paper with an address on it. Aika. That's where I live. Motohama. When did you? Aika. That's a secret, we girls have our ways. See you tomorrow. She turned around and left, Issei and his friend stunned. Mitsuda. She's a little scary. Issei Motohama. Agreed. After Aika left, the boys headed to Motohama's house and spent the night there. Issei spent the night because his body was badly bruised from earlier and because he didn't want to deal with his family. Mitsuda stayed because he too was badly bruised. Motohama's mother, named Mary, was a kind-hearted woman with a nurturing disposition. Despite Motohama being a pervert, she still loved him. She was also grateful that Issei and Mitsuda became friends with him. She treated Issei and Mitsuda like they were her own sons. She often told Issei that if he needed anything to just ask, she would be willing to take Issei in. Issei respectfully declined, saying that he didn't want to be a burden to her. She was a single mother due to Motohama's father dying in a car accident a few years back, and Issei couldn't bring himself to burden her and Motohama knowing their situation. When the boys came in, she was shocked to see them so bruised up. It was worse than the other times. Motohama explained to his mother that they were practically starving, so Mary hurriedly warmed up some leftovers for them from last night. As they sat down and ate dinner, she observed their bruised bodies with concern etched across her face. The aroma of the food filled the air, momentarily diverting their attention from the pain they had endured. As they savored each bite, Mary listened attentively to their stories. Issei recounted the confrontation that had left him battered, his voice laced with a mix of frustration and determination. As the Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda finished up their dinner, Motohama's mother went upstairs and ran a hot bath filled with Epsom salt for each of them. The Epsom salt was designed to heal bruises or at the very least make them not hurt so badly. As the boys soaked in the soothing warmth of the Epsom salt bath, a sense of relief washed over them. As the steam enveloped their tired bodies, Issei couldn't help but reflect on the events that had led them to this moment. Mitsuda, instead of having perverted thoughts like usual, seemed lost in his thoughts. The bruises on his face were a stark reminder of the fight they had been dragged into earlier. It was a fight they never asked for, yet one they couldn't avoid. Issei was thinking about how his family kept shunning him and how badly he wanted to make Zalek pay for his suffering. Issei couldn't understand why Zalek hated him so much. Their grandfather had fixed a hatred between Issei and Zalek when they were younger, and things were fine for years, but when Zalek turned 13 and Issei was 11, Zalek started being cruel to him. I want to make sure that you guys understand that when Issei and Zalek were younger, Zalek hated Issei and tried to push him around and did other things that made Issei hate him. However, their grandfather was able to temporarily fix that hatred before he died. The information regarding that will be disclosed in an OVA which will be coming soon. As already mentioned, a few years after their grandfather died, Zalek started to be cruel to Issei. The reason for that will be revealed as the story progresses, so please don't ask why. Time skip next day. The next day, Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda met up at Aika's house at 6 a.m. as agreed. Issei went up to the door and knocked. After a few moments, Aika opened the door and she was wearing her glasses, a tracksuit, and had a mug of coffee in her hand. Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda stared at her. Aika. Morning guys. Issei. Aika. Aika. Yes. Motohama. Is that coffee? Aika. Yeah, what about it? She said as she drank some of the coffee from the mug. Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda just stared at her. What's up with you guys' expressions? Mitsuda. I mean, we're only 14 so. Motohama. When did you start drinking coffee? Aika. When I was 6. She said nonchalantly. Issei. 6. You've been drinking coffee since you were 6. Aika. Yeah, my parents always let me have a little bit. I guess I just developed a taste for it. Aika shrugged nonchalantly while taking another sip of her coffee. Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda just stared at her. Aika. So are you guys just gonna stand there and stare or are you coming in? Issei. Yeah, sorry, come on guys. He said, following Aika into the house. Motohama and Mitsuda followed Issei. As they crossed the threshold into Aika's house, a sense of tranquility washed over them. The interior was a harmonious blend of modern aesthetics and rustic charm. Soft hues of ivory and pale blue adorned the walls, casting a gentle glow throughout the space. The furniture, crafted from rich dark wood, exuded an air of elegance and comfort. The living room beckoned with plush couches adorned with cozy throw pillows, creating a haven for relaxation. A vintage coffee table, adorned with carefully arranged books and a bouquet of fresh flowers, served as the centerpiece, inviting guests to delve into conversations or simply lose themselves in the pages of a captivating novel. Large windows framed by flowing curtains allowed natural light to cascade into the room, casting a warm glow on the hardwood floors. The walls were adorned with captivating artwork, each piece telling its own story. Motohama. Wow, this place looks so nice. Aika. Thanks, my parents put a lot of thought into the design of the place, they have a great sense of interior design. They helped us create this cozy and inviting atmosphere," she said as she led them down the hallway and then into the basement. Aika. "Alright, here we are." Mitsuda. "Wow, this place looks like a professional gym," he said as he took in the sight of the rows of dumbbells, weight benches, and resistance bands neatly arranged along the walls. And there was a treadmill as well. Motohama. "I've never seen so many options in one place. This is incredible, it has more options than the local gym." Issei. "This seems like just what we need, we should be stronger a lot faster now. I remember during a gym class one of our teachers gave us a short class on muscles and they said that lifting weights makes someone stronger a lot faster than just push-ups." Aika smiled proudly as she watched her friends take in the sight of her family's impressive basement. The room was spacious, with high ceilings and large windows that let in just the right amount of natural light. The walls were adorned with motivational quotes and posters of athletes, creating an environment that exuded inspiration and determination. Aika. "My dad is really into staying fit and being strong, he made sure to equip it with everything he would need for an awesome workout. From cardio machines to strength training equipment, we have it all." Issei. "Well guys, let's get to it. We're gonna push your limits until we can't anymore. We have to take full advantage of this. No slacking off." Mitsuda. "I wouldn't dream of it." Motohama. "Yeah, I'm with you Issei, let's do this guys." They began to explore the various exercise stations and Aika explained the purpose and benefits of each machine, demonstrating proper form and technique along the way. The atmosphere in the basement was charged with determination and anticipation. They all knew that with this new training space, their journey to becoming stronger was about to take a significant leap forward. Each day before school they'd come to Aika's house to work out and they pretend to be weak in gym class so Zalak and his crew wouldn't catch on. Issei and his friends also stopped by Aika's house after school and worked out. Hours turned into days and days turned into weeks as the Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda dedicated themselves to their rigorous training routine. Each session brought new challenges, but they pushed through all of them. Aika's guidance and knowledge proved to be a great help as she seamlessly transitioned into the role of their unofficial personal trainer. With each passing set, Issei and his friends pushed themselves harder, surpassing their previous limits. Sweat dripped down their brows, their muscles burned, but they refused to give up. They cheered each other on, exchanging high fives and words of encouragement. The atmosphere in the basement was electric, charged with the energy of their shared ambition. Time seemed to fly as they lost themselves in the intensity of their workout. Set after set, rep after rep, they pushed through fatigue and embraced the discomfort, knowing that it was a sign of progress. When they would reach the end of their sessions, their bodies would be drenched in sweat, they stood together, panting but smiling. Their hard work and perseverance paid off. Gradually, they noticed improvements in their strength, endurance, and overall fitness levels. Time skip 7 weeks. A total of 7 weeks has passed since Issei, Mitsuda, and Motohama began working out under Aika's guidance, and within that time period Issei and his friends had become a lot stronger than they were originally. They were now able to put up a fight, or at the very least defend themselves and not get beat up so badly. When it comes to fighting, even if a person loses, they are still respected as long as they put up a fight. However, the same cannot be said for those who turn tail and run like cowards instead of trying to stand their ground. Those people are disrespected. During these 7 hellish weeks of working out and trying to become stronger, Issei and his friends gave their muscles almost no rest. They even did some simple workouts with their arms during class. The only time their muscles were able to rest is if the guys had no choice due to their circumstances and if their muscles wouldn't allow them to stress them any further. The determination that Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda had was astonishing to Aika. Issei, in particular, had undergone a remarkable transformation. Once plagued by self-doubt and insecurities, he now carried himself with newfound confidence. His punches had gained strength, his reflexes had sharpened, and his already determined gaze became more determined than before. Zalek didn't know it, but he and his friends had lit a fire in Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda's souls. They were fed up with the constant abuse, disrespect, being scorned, and the false rumors Zalek with the help of his friends had spread. The whole point of Issei and his friends working out wasn't just so they could fight or defend themselves, it was to show everyone that they weren't the useless, despicable perverts everyone took them as. This was one of the main steps to dispelling the rumors Zalek had fabricated and repairing their reputation. No matter what Issei and his friends said, no one would believe them, even with Aika vouching for them. If anything, Zalek or someone at school would say that Issei and his friends were blackmailing Aika by threatening to expose some naked photos of her if she didn't do what they said, or they'd come up with some other random reason. Currently Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda were lying on the floor mat of Aika's basement drenched in sweat. They had just got off the treadmill which concluded their workout for the day. They couldn't take any more. Aika. Good job guys, you've come a long way from when you first started, you should be proud of yourselves. You're able to defend yourselves and put up a decent fight. Mitsuda. Panting T thanks, but we wouldn't have gotten this far so quickly without your help. Motohama. Panting why yeah I gotta admit Aika, at first I was pretty skeptical of you being our personal trainer, but eventually I began to see I was worrying for nothing. Issei. Panting Aika we really appreciate your help, thanks a lot. Aika. Of course, you're more than welcome besides, someone had to help you weirdos, it's getting old seeing you getting beat up. Motohama. Hey you're weird too, don't try to play innocent. Mitsuda. Yeah Aika. Aika. Well, I don't go around measuring girls' breast sizes with my eyes. Your measurements are probably way off when you do it too. Motohama. Gasp how dare you. My measurements are never off, you're just jealous. I measure your breasts with ease. Aika. Ha, jealous. In your dreams, I can measure the current size of your hick and the size of it when it's at its peak condition. She said confidently with a smirk, the boys quickly covered their crotches. What's wrong, scared? Issei. Fake cough alright, that's enough guys. We're supposed to be focusing on our training, remember? Aika's smirk widened, clearly enjoying their discomfort. Aika. Oh, don't worry, Issei. I'm just messing with you guys. But yeah, let's get back to business. Once Aika got the boys back on track, they continued their workout. Eventually, she had to leave to handle some other things, leaving them to talk amongst themselves and look at the recent progress they have made. They can discuss their gains and what's been going on. Issei. Damn, we've really improved, Motohama. Absolutely, bro with these gains, your brother and his lame friends might have to think twice before messing with us again. And if they don't, we fight and try to defend ourselves. Mitsuda. That's true, guys, but we need to remember, although we're stronger we still need to deal with all the rumors and false perceptions that people have about us because of Zalek. We need to show them that we're not the useless lowlife and despicable perverts that they think we are. Issei. Damn straight. That asshole has made my life a living hell, not only with my own family, but also with other residents of Cow. They look at me like I'm some kind of disease. I'm determined to prove everyone wrong and expose the lies Alec and his friends spread about us. Motohama. We understand, bro people have given us similar looks. Your situation is even worse than ours. I know living with him must be tough. By the way, how's your relationship with your sister holding up? Issei. It's not getting any better, to be honest. It feels like things are or will become worse. But let's not dwell on that. Let's focus on our journey to self-improvement. Motohama. So, what's the latest bullshit that Dumbus Alec and his homelty have been spreading around? Mitsuda. I've heard it's just the usual perverted trio nonsense. They're nothing but a waste of life. They've now spread rumors that we're on some sort of registry. Typical hawk breath and bucket bitch. Issei. Yeah, lately's Alec's rumors haven't been targeting all of us. I have a weird feeling it's more directed towards me. I hope he tries something like he did last time when he kicked our asses. Because this time, I'll make sure he gets a taste of my 7 weeks of training, up his ass. Mitsuda. Preach it, brother, I have my own payback to get at that bastard. Motohama. Dude, it's concerning that you think Zalek, Ren, and Malti could be planning something even more nefarious specifically aimed at you. It's not cool, man. I've got a bad feeling about this. Issei. I know, but I don't think things are going to get any better. My parents have become more harsh to me, and my sister barely talks to me, not even to say good morning. All they do is look at me with disdain and disappointment. Mitsuda. Cheer up, buddy, you have us, like we already told you, we would never turn our backs on you. We're bros for life. Motohama. Yeah, no matter what, man. Thick and thin, we'll stick together till the end. You're stuck with us until the day you die. Haha. Issei. Thanks, you guys. That means a lot. Motohama. Alright guys, enough depressing talk, we need to come up with a solid plan to change people's impression of us. We have to demonstrate who we are through our works. If they won't believe us they'll have to believe our works. They can deny and dismiss our words all they want, but they can't deny and dismiss our works. You can't separate a man from his works, the works constitute the man. Well, that's what my dad told me before he died, anyways. Mitsuda. Yeah, I agree with your dad, it makes total sense. I think one way we can do that is by getting involved in community service. We could volunteer our time to help out and make a positive impact. By doing so, we'll show everyone that we genuinely care about our community and are willing to put in the effort to make it better. Motohama. That's a great idea. I've heard that Cow Park does a volunteer cleanup service where they pick up trash and make the place look better. If we join in and actively participate, it could really help improve our reputation. People need to see that we're not just a bunch of perverted creeps. Issei. But let's be real, guys. The chances of them allowing us to help with community service is slim to none. Somehow, someway they'll come up with some reason to deny us from helping. And let's just say that they do let us join, people might not recognize the good we're trying to do and just make fun of us instead, calling us the princes of trash or something worse. Community service is a good idea, but we need to think bigger, we need something that'll make us really shine. Motohama and Mitsuda frowned, they knew Issei had a point, they sat there for a while thinking, but came up with nothing. After a while Aika came back and then they told her about their plan. Aika nodded in agreement and told them she'd think about it and try come up with a good idea. After that the boys left. After leaving Aika's house while walking down the street, they continued thinking about what they could do, but couldn't come up with anything. Motohama. Man, why is it so hard to come up with a damn good idea? Damn you Zalek, if he hadn't spread those exaggerating degrading rumors, we wouldn't be in this situation. Mitsuda. You've got a point, Motohama, but we can't allow that to frustrate us. We've got to think, otherwise we'll go into our second year with everyone hating us, and it won't be long before we enter our second year either. Issei. Don't worry guys, we'll come up with good ideas eventually, just because we can't come up with any now doesn't mean all hope is lost. I have a feeling that we'll find something soon, we're bound to off. He was cut off when he was smacked in the face with a paper, the wind had been blowing around. Issei stumbled backward, caught off guard by the unexpected assault of the flying paper. Motohama and Mitsuda quickly caught him before he fell. Mitsuda. You alright Issei? Motohama. What happened? Issei. Yes, I'm fine, he didn't finish his sentence as he picked up the paper that had hit him in the face. Mitsuda. You just what? Issei still didn't respond, he was too busy staring at the paper with large eyes. Noticing that Issei was too engrossed in the paper to notice them, Motohama and Mitsuda decided to look at the paper Issei was holding to see what was holding Issei's attention. When they looked at the paper they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The words on the paper seemed to jump out at them, as if fate itself had intervened. Residents of Kao, we the administrators of Kao High School, are happy to announce that there will be a talent show for students being held in exactly 3 weeks. The talent show will range from dancing, singing, appropriate music of all kinds, weightlifting and so on. For further details and for those who wish to participate stop by the student council office. Also all students have the right to participate and cannot be withheld from doing so, regardless of their reputation or rumors. Thank you. The collective gasp escaped the boys' lips, their minds racing with possibilities. Could this be the breakthrough they had been desperately searching for? Was the universe guiding them toward the very solution they sought? They stood there for several moments deep in thought about what they just read. Issei. Yes, this is exactly what we need, this will give us the chance to show everyone what we're capable of. Motohama. You're right, Issei, this is our golden opportunity to showcase our hidden talents. We've always been the underdogs, but now we have a chance to prove ourselves. Mitsuda. I agree, what should we do? He was cut off as Issei, and Motohama quickly covered his mouth with their hands. Issei Motohama. SHHH. Issei. Someone might hear us. Let's go to your place, Mitsuda, and we can discuss things there. Understanding the situation Mitsuda nodded his head, then Issei and Motohama removed their hands from his mouth, and the trio walked off. Unfortunately for them, however, someone had been lurking around and heard them talking about entering the talent show. After the trio left, the mysterious person left as well. Scene change. An apartment 10 miles away. Zalek and Malti were making out in Malti's bedroom in her apartment, her mom wasn't home, and today was the day that Zalek was about to lose his virginity. Both of them were on the bed naked, but just as they were about to do the deed, Zalek's phone buzzed, interrupting the intense moment between him and Malti. Feeling irritated that someone was interrupting them, Zalek grabbed the phone and saw that he had received a text message. When he read the message, at first he was severely annoyed, but when he reread it he burst out in laughter. Malti. What's so funny Zalek? She said, sitting up, wrapping her arms around Zalek and pressing her breasts against Zalek's back. Zalek. Chuckling, the school is holding a talent show, and it appears that my stupid perverted brother and his friends are going to enter. Malti. Why? Those idiots don't have a shot at winning, all they'll do is embarrass themselves. They're completely talentless. Zalek nodded in agreement, still chuckling at the absurdity of his brother's antics. Zalek. You're absolutely right, Malti. They don't stand a chance against the real talents out there. But you know what? This might just be the perfect opportunity for us to show them what true talent looks like. Malti, what do you mean, Zalek? Are you saying what I'm thinking? She said with a devious look on her face. Zalek grinned mischievously, his mind buzzing with an exciting idea. Zalek. We should enter the talent show as well, Malti. We'll not only steal the show and any chance my brother and his friends may have of winning, but also give everyone a performance they'll never forget. Malti. Yes, let's do it, we have to come up with something unique, something that will leave the audience in awe. We'll make sure they remember us, not just as a couple, but as a force to be reckoned with. And the best part is we'll crush your brother and his friends, I can't wait to see the look of despair and disappointment on their faces. Zalek. I agree, but we've got 3 weeks before the talent show. Let's continue this, he said, his voice filled with anticipation. In a sudden surge of passion, he thrusted his hick inside of Malti, eliciting pleasurable moans from her. This unexpected encounter caught her off guard, but a mischievous grin spread across her face, clearly indicating her enjoyment. Zalek was overwhelmed with pleasure and moaned as well, realizing that he was finally losing his virginity. What made it even more exhilarating was the fact that he was experiencing it before Issei and his friends. However, consumed by his own pleasure and constantly speeding up the increasing intensity of his thrusts, Zalek failed to notice that Malti was not a virgin. As their bodies intertwined in a symphony of desire, Zalek's mind was consumed by a whirlwind of sensations. Every touch, every whisper of breath against his skin, fueled the fire that raged within him. He thrusted inside of Malti harder and harder, it felt like an eternity of bliss, as if time itself had ceased to exist. He went through a box of condoms. Time skipped 3 weeks. It was the day of the talent show, the school was buzzing with excitement, students and parents filled the hallways, their excitement palpable. Meanwhile, Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda discreetly made their way backstage, carefully concealing their instruments in a secluded area unknown to others. The reason for doing so was that they were concerned that Zalek or someone else would attempt to sabotage them. Brief flashback. 3 weeks ago, the trio Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda had approached the student council office to sign up for the talent show, only to be met with laughter and scorn from their peers. Mocking comments were hurled at them, belittling their abilities. "You three are nothing but useless idiots with no talent whatsoever. This is not a contest for peeping toms, you pathetic losers. Go home, nobody wants you here. It's unbelievable that the school hasn't expelled them yet." Despite the harsh criticism, Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda persevered. They remained determined to prove their worth and showcase their talents to the skeptical audience that awaited them. Eventually their turn came, and they filled out the sheet to apply for the talent show. They had chosen music as their medium of expression, a universal language that could convey their emotions and transcend the boundaries of judgment. With unwavering resolve, they prepared diligently and spent countless hours practicing in secret, honing their skills and perfecting their performance. And Aika helped out a little as well. The talent show was going well. There were a lot of preferences, people dancing, comedy skits, acrobatics and a few other things. At the moment, the kendo captain and vice captains were having a demonstration match on stage. Speaker. That was the kendo club for you guys, give them a round of applause for their wonderful preferences. Now up next we have a brave boy who will be singing for us today, give a warm welcome to Shias Haramki. The boy went up and took the mic in his hand and began singing, but the moment he started everyone wished he hadn't. His singing was so horrible, croaky, and offbeat that some of the glass in the area began cracking, and what made it worse is that he was loud too. The singing was so horrible that those with hearing aids had to take them out, the audience winced as the boy's ear-piercing notes reverberated throughout the room. It was as if a cacophony of screeching cats had invaded their eardrums. As the boy continued to sing, the cracks in the glass grew wider, causing a few shards to fall to the ground. It was as if the very foundations of the building were shaking under the weight of his terrible vocals. People exchanged uneasy glances, desperately yearning for this torturous performance to end. The cracked glass served as a visual reminder of the sheer force behind his dreadful vocalizations. Then, finally after what felt like forever the music stopped. The room fell into an awkward silence as the boy finished his song, seemingly oblivious to the torture he had just put everyone through. The audience exchanged bewildered glances, unsure of how to react. Should they applaud out of politeness or remain silent to avoid encouraging such a disastrous display? Speaker. And that was Shias Haramki giving an interesting performance. Give him a round of applause. The crowd clapped awkwardly, but the boy didn't seem to notice. He walked backstage with a smirk on his face, completely obviously to the torture he put the audience through. After leaving there was a lot of whispering about him. One random student leaned over to his friend and said, "I guess we now know what it sounds like when cats try to sing opera." The other student had a hard time containing his laughter, in fact he had to leave the room just to let it all out. Time skip 14 minutes later. It was now nearing the end of the talent show, and the last ones to go were Zalek and Malti and Issei and his friends. Speaker. Next up Zalek Haidu and Malti Damasu, these two will be singing for us. The speaker said emphatically, then Zalek and Malti walked onto the stage waving at everyone. Meanwhile, Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda were standing backstage in shock. They had no clue that those two had planned on performing. Mitsuda. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. If we can't outshine them this'll practically all be for nothing. Issei. Calm down Mitsuda, getting all worked up won't solve anything. Motohama. Yeah, Issei's right, besides for all we know they could sound worse than the guy that wah. The music started, a soft melody that seemed to captivate the audience instantly. The trio's eyes widened as Zalek and Malti began to sing, their voices blending together in perfect harmony. The crowd fell silent, their attention fully captured by the unexpected talent displayed before them. The spotlight illuminated Zalek and Malti, casting a glow around them as they sang. Zalek's voice carried a deep richness, resonating with emotion, while Malty's voice soared with a delicate sweetness, adding a touch of ethereal beauty to their performance. The duo's voices intertwined flawlessly, creating a mesmerizing duet that enveloped the room with its enchanting aura. The song that Zalek and Malty were singing was called Endless Love. Lyrics. Verse 1. Zalek and Malty. My love, there's only you in my life, the only thing that's right, my first love, you're every breath that I take, you're every step I make. Chorus. Zalek and Malty and both. And I want to share all my love with you, no one else will do. And your eyes, your eyes, your eyes, they tell me how much you care. Oh, yes, you will always be my endless love. Verse 2. Zalek, Malty and both. Two hearts that beat as one. Our lives have just begun. Forever oh, oh oh oh. I'll hold you close in my arms. I can't resist your charms. Chorus. Zalek, Malty and both. And love oh, love, I'll be a fool for you, I'm sure. You know I don't mind oh, you know I don't mind. Cause you mean the world to me, oh, I know. I've found in you my endless love. Bridge. Zalek and Malty, Zalek, oh oh, oh oh oh, boom, boom, boom 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 boom, boom boom, 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 boom boom, boom. Chorus. Zalek and Malty and both. Oh oh oh, and love oh, love, I'll be that fool for you, I'm sure. You know I don't mind oh, you know I don't mind. And I don't mind. Outrow. Zalek, Malty and both. And, yes, you'll be the only one, cause no one can deny this love I have inside, and I'll give it all to you. My love, my love, my love, my endless love. Song end. The audience erupted into thunderous applause as Zalek and Malty finished their song, their voices lingering in the air like a gentle whisper. The pair took a bow, their faces glowing with a newfound confidence and satisfaction. As Zalek and Malty left the stage, the cheers and applause continued, filling the room with a sense of celebration. Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda watched in awe from backstage, their shock gradually transforming into admiration and disbelief. They were worried if their songs would be good enough or would they end up being a laughingstock. Issei. Hey come on guys, we're up next, we've come too far to give up now. Snap out of it. He tried to encourage his friends, but they didn't respond, they just simply stared straight ahead. Then Issei slapped them both hard. Have you come to your senses yet, Motohama Mitsuda? Yeah, we'll show them what real art looks like. Speaker. Lastly, we have a group of students playing together as a band, then their leader will give us 2 solo songs. The name of the band is Oxed. And its members are. Wait, this can't be right. Well, I guess it is. The members of this band are Motohama, Mitsuda, and Issei Haidu, the speaker announced as the boys walked on stage with their instruments. Mitsuda had the drums, Motohama sat down at the desk to handle their audio equipment, Issei walked up to the microphone. Everyone was shocked to see them up there, they thought the boys would have turned tail and run, but there they were standing tall. And they were also dressed really well, which also caught a lot of attention. As Issei and his friends looked at the audience, he noticed his parents sitting next to his siblings in the audience. When Issei laid his eyes on them, he felt scared for a moment. Fear slowly began to creep into his mind, but he reminded himself of the words he had just told Motohama and Mitsuda, and he pushed on. Issei. Ahem, as you know, my name is Issei Haidu, I'm the leader, and the name of our band is Oxed. We've practiced really hard over the past 3 weeks, so please enjoy it. He said, then he nodded in Motohama direction, and the music began. The first song they played was Hey Brother. As Issei began singing, everyone's jaw dropped, they'd never known he could sing so well, not even his own family. Issei's voice was beyond beautiful, it was better than Zalek, Malty, and any of the other singers that the audience had heard tonight. Hey brother. Lyrics. Verse 1. Hey brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. Hey sister, know the water is sweet, but blood is thicker. Oh, if the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Verse 2. Hey brother, do you still believe in one another? Hey sister, do you still believe in love, I wonder? Oh, if the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Hook. What if I'm far from home? Oh brother, I will hear you call. What if I lose it all? Oh sister, I will help you hang on. Oh, if the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Verse 3. Hey brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. Hey sister, do you still believe in love, I wonder? Oh, if the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Hook. What if I'm far from home? Oh brother, I will hear you call. What if I lose it all? Oh sister, I will help you hang on. Oh, if the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. And, as he sang Issei, the audience slowly got up and started clapping. This only fueled the fire in Issei and his friends. There was no stopping them now. After finishing the song, Issei played 3 more. 1 call away. And for the next one, Motohama and Mitsuda stood up and walked next to Issei, making everyone curious about what they were doing. Then the music began and Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda began dancing and moving in sync. Their choreography was on point. They received a huge round of applause for that song. Then Mitsuda sat back down at the drums, and Motohama went back to the audio equipment for one last song. Grayscale Dominator both versions. The crowd cheered loudly, they were getting louder by the minute. But Zalak, Malti, and Ren were furious, they couldn't believe a worthless pervert like Issei could sing so well, and that his friends could play the instrument so well either. What blew everyone away is when Motohama and Mitsuda walked off stage, Issei sat at the piano and began playing one of his favorite songs, Moonlight Sonata. When it was all done everyone couldn't help but cheer for Issei and his friends, though they were perverts, everyone had to admit that they had talent. And to top it all, they won the talent show. Zalek was beyond pissed and stormed out of the room, now saw this and wondered where he was going, but her mind was taken off of that when Mickey started talking to her. This was one of the happiest moments in Issei's life, and the best part was that for once, his family was smiling at him. However, this would be one of the last happy memories Issei would have of them. Chapter 4. Changing Winds. After their performance on stage at the talent show, Issei and his friends, Motohama and Mitsuda, were met with a resounding round of applause from the audience. They graciously took a bow before exiting the stage. Backstage, the trio found themselves overcome with excitement, showering each other with compliments for their outstanding performance. It was evident that their hard work and dedication had paid off. The thought began to take shape in their minds. Perhaps they had a genuine chance to restore their tarnished reputations and, in the near future, expose Zalak and his malicious fabrications. Mitsuda. I can hardly believe we successfully pulled it off. I don't think anyone noticed, but I was sweating like hell on stage. Motohama. I understand how you felt. I was also a bit nervous, but I had complete faith in our team and the hard work we invested. Failure was simply not an option. And what about you, Issei? How did you feel? Issei. To be honest, when Zalek and Malti took the stage and started singing, I started feeling anxious. I was a little worried their song might outshine the ones we sang. But what really got to me was seeing my parents in the audience. Mitsuda. Seriously? What were their expressions like? Issei. Well, of course Zalek had a smug look on his face, he probably thought I couldn't sing. But my parents seemed genuinely surprised to see me performing with all of you, especially to be singing, and now, her expression was a mixture of disbelief and confusion. Motohama. Oh, don't get me started on that. The looks on everyone's faces was priceless when they heard us sing, especially you, Issei. Your voice is so good, despite our voices not being that great for singing, as long as we stayed in sync with you and the melody your voice filled in any gaps and stuff that ours had. Mitsuda. Yeah, if I didn't know any better I'd thought that you were some famous foreign singer or something. Issei. What can I say? I was blessed with a gift, it's as simple as that. But I wasn't the only one that made this work. Motohama, your skills with computers and the audio system really helped bring everything together. Not only that, but Mitsuda, you and Motohama are really good at playing different instruments. The only reason this worked as well as it did is because we worked together as a team. Mitsuda. Well, you're right about that, Issei, but I think what really topped it all off is when you played the Moonlight Sonata with the piano. I can't explain it, but when you were playing the song it felt different, like we were actually staring at the moon itself. Motohama. I agree, I was totally caught off guard when you began playing it, but at the same time I felt at peace. It was like all the problems disappeared. You were really in the zone, Issei. Issei. Well, ever since I was younger I was really into music. I don't know why, but it just feels so natural. Mitsuda. Hey, seeing how talented you are with music, I wouldn't be surprised if one of your ancestors was some kind of famous musician. Issei. Hey, you've got a point, maybe. Boru. Issei. He called his name, gently, putting a hand on Issei's shoulder. Issei felt a wave of fear when he heard his father's voice and felt him put his hand on his shoulder. It was like his body was suddenly frozen with liquid nitrogen. He felt his heart skip a beat, his breath caught in his throat, and a shiver went down his back. Just the sound of his father's voice made him feel terrified. It wasn't just the way his father spoke or touched his shoulder gently, it was the feeling of authority and disappointment that came with it, making him feel stuck in place. Issei was overwhelmed with fear, and his skin felt like it had goosebumps from a cold breeze. His heart was beating fast and his hands were trembling. He felt a rush of adrenaline that made his senses feel very sharp, almost painfully so. The room now felt small and suffocating. Every sound and movement made him feel even more anxious. Slowly yet surely, fearing the worst, Issei turned around to face his father. Motohama and Mitsuda stood there watching in case they needed to jump in. Even if Goru was Issei's father, they refused to stand and watch Issei get beat up. Issei looked his father in the eye, fearing that he was about to receive a hard punch to the face or another part of his body, but instead his father simply smiled at him. Goru. Well done, Issei. That was a beautiful performance you gave us tonight. Congratulations on winning the talent show, he said, patting Issei on his shoulder. Then, he directed his attention towards Motohama and Mitsuda. You boys were wonderful as well. I'm sure your parents were thrilled to hear your performance. Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda stood there, utterly astounded, particularly Issei. He had anticipated his father's criticism or even physical retribution for outshining Zalak or for some other reason. However, as Issei glanced at his father, he detected a glimmer in his eyes that had been absent for an entire year, ever since Zalak had exposed Issei as a pervert and spread those malicious rumors. At that moment, Issei recognized a mixture of pride and happiness emanating from his father. Issei also noticed that his mother, Miki, and his sister, now, were present as well. Both of them simply smiled at Issei with a look of approval on their faces. Issei couldn't believe what he was experiencing. The weight of his father's approval lifted a burden from his shoulders that had been crushing him for so long. It was as if a dark cloud that had been hanging over their relationship had finally dissipated, leaving behind a ray of sunlight. For the first time in a while, Issei truly felt happy. The malicious rumors that Zalak had spread, the mistreatment and abuse both at school and at home, had taken their toll, chipping away at Issei's self-esteem. But now, in this moment, it seemed like a distant memory. Motohama and Mitsuda, sensing the significance of the moment, exchanged knowing glances. They had been with Issei through thick and thin, supporting him when others turned their backs. Their friendship had become an unbreakable bond, forged in the fires of adversity. Tonight, their collective achievement on the talent show stage had brought them a sense of triumph that went far beyond the applause of the audience. "Miki, you really took us by surprise, Issei. We had no idea you could sing, especially not that good. It sounded so beautiful. Where and when did you learn to sing like that?" "Now. And where'd you learn to play the piano? What's the name of the song that you played? It sounded so incredible, it felt like we were transported to another world or something." "Boru. Now that's enough questions. You can ask Issei another time, we don't want to hold him up. He's busy with his friends." "Now?" "Yes, father." "Boru. Well, you see later on, Issei. Enjoy celebrating your victory with your friends, you earned it," he said with a slight smile. Then he turned and left. Miki followed him, and so did Now, but not before saying one last thing. "Now. By the way, good job Motohama and Mitsuda." She then left backstage, leaving Issei and his friends shocked. It was a completely unexpected turn of events. Issei shed some tears of happiness. He felt that perhaps his family would acknowledge him and treat him like a normal person. Meanwhile, Mitsuda and Motohama couldn't believe that Now actually called them by their names instead of the usual many nicknames that she and the girls called them. "Aika. Good job winning the talent show, guys. From the look of your expressions, I'd say things have already begun to improve." "Issei. Aika." He began wiping his tears. He hadn't noticed Aika approach them. "Aika. Hey, it's okay to cry. I'm not gonna make fun of you or anything. If I'd known you were crying I would have waited before coming back here. I'm sorry," she said with a genuinely sympathetic voice. "Issei. Sniff sniff, it's alright Aika, I've got enough out. I didn't expect to cry either, it's just, I'm so happy. My family actually looked at me with happiness and pride instead of disappointment, disdain, and hatred. They actually felt a little proud." He cried some more. The malicious rumors that Zalak had spread, the mistreatment and abuse both at school and at home, had taken their toll, so it was all coming out now. Aika reached out and gently placed her arms around Issei, offering a comforting hug. She understood the weight of his words and the immense relief he must have felt in that moment. Issei's vulnerability touched her deeply, and she couldn't help but feel a surge of anger towards those who had caused him so much pain. She already understood that Zalak was a despicable person, but seeing Issei cry like this showed her how much Zalak had done to Issei, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Seeing Issei like this was infuriating, and to think that Zalak kept getting away with it. "Aika, I'm glad to hear that, Issei," she said softly, her voice filled with genuine warmth. "No one should have to endure what you've been through." Issei looked up at her, his tear-streaked face revealing a mix of gratitude and lingering sadness. "Issei, thank you Aika. It means a lot to hear you say that," he said as he released Aika from the hug. "Aika. You've shown incredible strength by persevering through all the hardships. It takes a lot of courage to face your fears and rise above them. And you did just that." "Issei. Thanks, but I couldn't have done it without Motohama and Mitsuda's support. And you helped us out too, Aika." "Aika. Ah, well I didn't do that much, I just helped out a little." "Motohama. Even if it was a little, it certainly helped." "Thank you, Mitsuda." "I completely agree with Motohama and Issei, thank you Aika." "Aika. Oh, you're making me blush, do you guys have a crush on me or something?" Issei. Motohama. Mitsuda. "No, Aika. Geez, I was just joking, no need to be so brutally honest. Like I was saying, we're all in this together, Issei. We believe in you, even if the world doesn't, that's what friends are for." "Issei. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it. I'm lucky to have good friends like you." As they stood there, basking in the warmth of their friendship, Issei couldn't help but feel a surge of optimism coursing through his veins. The scars of his past were still healing, but with the unwavering support of his friends, he felt like he could overcome anything. Time skip 3 weeks. 3 weeks have passed since the talent show, and things have gotten slightly better for Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda. Thanks to the talent show, everyone saw that there was more to the trio than meets the eye, especially Issei. Some of the students at school began to see them in a different light. Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda could hardly believe the positive turn of events. The talent show had not only showcased their hidden talents, but it had also revealed a newfound sense of confidence within them. The students who had once dismissed them as mere outcasts now regarded them with a little respect. Issei found himself bombarded with inquiries from fellow students, fascinated by his singing ability. Similarly, Motohama and Mitsuda were inundated with questions concerning their instrumental skills and proficiency with computers and the audio system. It was a refreshing change from the constant sneers and bullying he had endured in the past. Their friendship with Aiko also played a significant role in this transformation. By openly associating themselves with her, it wasn't so easy for Alex to manipulate the situation. No longer could he orchestrate scenarios and rumors where Issei would be subjected to the wrath of the girls. Since Aiko was with the trio most of the time, she could vouch for them. As a result, that would make Zalek appear as a liar, which might cause everyone to question the validity of his words, even if they didn't use, and his friends would be able to turn the tables on Zalek and expose his lies. Zalek knew this and couldn't afford to let it happen, and since he couldn't spread rumors or anything, he, Ren, and Malti couldn't lay a finger on Issei and his friends themselves. However, Zalek wasn't about to give up easily. Frustrated by his failed attempts to bring harm to Issei and his friends, he resorted to more desperate measures. Zalek sent his lackeys to physically attack them. It seemed like the next logical step in his twisted mind. However, little did Zalek know, Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda had been training diligently. The countless hours they had spent honing their physical abilities were about to pay off. As the lackeys approached, their intentions clear, Issei and his friends stood their ground, ready to defend themselves. The following altercation was swift and decisive. The lackeys, expecting an easy victory, were caught off guard by the trio's newfound strength and determination. Issei's fists flew with precision, leaving the attackers bewildered and incapacitated. Motohama and Mitsuda showcased their own skills, delivering powerful blows that left the bullies reeling. Word of the confrontation spread like wildfire through the school, further solidifying Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda's newfound reputation. The students witnessed firsthand how the once vulnerable, weak, and useless perverted trio, as they called them, could now hold their own against adversity. As the dust settled, Issei couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and satisfaction. The talent show had been the catalyst for change, and their perseverance had paid off. They had not only gained the respect of their peers, but they had also discovered a strength within themselves that they never knew existed. However, unfortunately for Issei and his friends, their streak of happiness was about to come crashing down. What happened next would forever alter the future of Issei and those around him. Flashback. 3 weeks ago, the night of the talent show. After it was announced that Issei and his friends had won the talent show, Alex stormed out of the auditorium. He was furious. Outside the school, he slammed his fist into a wall. Alex, how the hell did this happen? We were supposed to win the talent show, not those worthless bunch of losers. We were supposed to crush them. Where the hell did my useless little brother Issei learn to sing like that, let alone play a damn piano? As Alex seethed with anger, his mind raced to find an explanation for their unexpected loss. The taste of defeat was bitter on his tongue, fueling his frustration further. How could someone pathetic, weak, and practically talentless their entire life like Issei beat Zalek? Zalek's thoughts were consumed by questions. How had Issei developed such talent without his knowledge? When did his brother's voice transform into something so captivating, so hauntingly beautiful? His thoughts drifted back to their childhood, when Issei had shown no inclination towards music or any artistic endeavors. Zalek had always prided himself on being the superior sibling, the one destined for greatness. For a while now, since their grandfather died, Zalek had always been the center of attention, the one praised for his natural abilities. But now, here he was, grappling with the bitter taste of defeat. It felt as if the tables had turned. Malti. That's what we were wondering as well. How the buck did Issei and his band of misfits beat us? We were the ones who were supposed to shine, to bask in the glory of victory. Malti said, walking up to Zalek, furious that Issei and his friends had beaten them. She felt utterly humiliated. She clenched her fists full of rage. Ren? Yeah, you said your worthless brother didn't stand a chance at winning. How the hell was he able to sing so well? Losing to trash like his is downright degrading and disrespectful. Zalek turned his attention to Malti and Ren, his eyes narrowing as he noticed their fuming presence. Their arrival only fueled his anger further, his frustration mounting with each word spoken by his friends. He clenched his fists, his knuckles turning wide as he struggled to contain his rage and humiliation. Zalek. Enough, I don't care how he did it, we cannot let this slide. We need to put Issei and his friends in their place, beneath where they belong. Ren. It seems to me that Issei kept his talent of singing hidden from you, and considering how surprised your family was, I take it they weren't aware either. None of us could have foreseen this. It's pure bullshit, simple as that. Ren was furious about the situation as well, but he managed to keep his cool. Among the three of them, Ren was the most level-headed one. Malty scoffed, her voice laced with bitterness. Malty. Well, I'm not going to accept this defeat. Just because they won doesn't mean I'll let them get away with it. I want to charge in there and beat the crap out of them until their brain starts bleeding. No, scratch that. First I want to cut their hicks off, shove them up their asses, make them eat them, and then beat the living crap out of those bastards. Upon hearing that, Ren and Zalek flinched and instinctively covered their crotch. Zalek's eyes widened with a mix of shock and terror as Malty's words hung in the air. His usually confident demeanor faltered and a bead of sweat trickled down his forehead. He couldn't help but imagine the excruciating pain that Malty had so vividly described, causing an involuntary shiver to run down his spine. Ren, standing beside him, mirrored his reaction, his tough exterior momentarily crumbling under the weight of Malty's violent intentions. Their fear was palpable as they exchanged uneasy glances, both silently questioning how they had gotten themselves entangled with someone as ruthless and vengeful as Malty. She was a force to be reckoned with, unleashing a wrath that seemed to know no bounds. Both of them were glad to not be on the receiving end of her wrath, especially Zalek, since he was her boyfriend. Zalek took a deep breath, attempting to steady his nerves. He knew they had to find a way to navigate through this situation without resorting to Malty's extreme measures. Although he wanted to go with her suggestion, he had a bad feeling that something might go wrong if they did. Zalek. Look, Malty, as satisfying as doing that to Issei and his friends would be, I think that's going a bit too far. Malty. What do you mean going too far? Those assholes humiliated me, and the rest of us, losing to them tarnished my pristine image. So tell me, how the bucking hell is that going too far, Zalek Haidu? She said the last part, grabbing him by his shirt. His face was now only a few inches away from hers. Zalek could feel Malty's seething anger radiating from her as her grip tightened on his shirt. He swallowed hard, meeting her intense gaze with a mix of apprehension and determination. He knew he had to choose his words carefully, understanding that any misstep could further escalate the situation. Zalek. Malty babe, I understand your frustration, I'm just as pissed off. But simply beating them up and causing them pain won't be enough this time. This time I'm going to get rid of Issei once and for all. Just trust me, Ren, and I've been working on this plan for a while, and now it's time to put it into effect. Reluctantly, Malty released her grip on him, her eyes narrowing as she considered his words. The initial fury simmered, replaced by curiosity. Zalek's calm demeanor had a way of grounding her, reminding her of the bigger picture beyond her wounded pride. Malty. Fine, what's your plan, Ren? The first thing we need to do is figure out who's helping Issei and his friends. There's no way they pulled this off on their own. Once we figure out who's been helping Issei and his friends, we'll threaten that person or beat the crap out of them. That's what Zalek and I will do. Zalek. Meanwhile, Malty, when the time comes you'll need to feed the Kendo Club some lies, convince Murayama and Caddis that Issei is blackmailing someone, and have them meet us in an alley. Malty. Then what? Zalek. Don't worry about it, I'm handling all the details, but now this. When we're done the entire town will hate Issei, and if things go the way I'm 90% certain they will, then Issei will also be disowned by my family. That will be the crushing blow that finishes him. He'll be completely broken, and knowing him he'll take most of the blame that we'll try to pin on Motohama and Mitsuda, which will shatter things even more. He'll have no one to help him whatsoever. Malty. I like the sound of that, that'll be far more satisfying than just causing him physical pain. I can't wait to see the look on Issei's face, it's gonna be so sweet to see the despair and humiliation he suffers. His despair will be music to my ears. Ren. Definitely, our plan is foolproof, and once we execute it flawlessly, there will be no chance for him to escape. Issei will learn the true meaning of pain and despair, and he will forever regret crossing paths with us. Zalek. Remember, Malty, timing is crucial. We must ensure that we strike when Issei is at his highest, and things seem to be getting better, that's when he'll least expect it. And make the blow far more devastating, as he watches everything around him crumble to pieces. His dreams and his hopes for a better future. As they continued discussing their intricate plan, a sense of satisfaction filled their hearts. They were convinced that their revenge would be swift and merciless, leaving Issei shattered and broken. But amidst their malevolent plotting, a subtle doubt crept into Malty's mind. What if Issei manages to uncover our scheme? She pondered aloud, her voice laced with uncertainty. What if he fights back or finds a way to expose our true intentions? Ren. Malty, we have planned this for weeks, leaving no room for failure. Issei may be resourceful, but he is no match for our cunning and manipulation. We hold all the cards. Zalek interjected, his voice dripping with arrogance. Zalek. Besides, even if Issei were to discover our plan, it would be too late. By then, the damage will have been done. His reputation will forever be tarnished, friendships shattered, and his very existence ridiculed. We will crush his spirit and leave him broken, stripped of his pride and dignity. Our plan can't fail. Multi. You're right. Issei will be nothing more than a mere pawn in our game. We'll crush him under our feet. Ren. One more thing, remember, we need to make sure Issei's downfall appears organic, not orchestrated. The town should believe that he brought this upon himself, without suspecting our involvement. Multi. Don't worry, I'll ensure that the pieces fall into place seamlessly. Issei will never see it coming. But their resolve fortified, the trio delved deeper into their scheme, crafting a web of deceit and treachery. The pieces were falling into place, and as they reveled in their malevolence, little did they know that fate had its own plans in store. Their plan would have far-reaching consequences, not just for Issei, but for themselves as well. The stage was set, and the game had begun. The battle between light and darkness was about to unfold, with Issei trapped in the crossfire of their twisted machinations. Flashback end. Currently, Issei, Motohama, and Mitsuda were engrossed in a lively discussion about their recent gaming experience with the new game Mitsuda just got, called Mortal Kombat. Their excitement was palpable as they discussed strategies and challenges, completely oblivious to their surroundings. They had come from Motohama's house and were on their way to the store. Motohama's mother, feeling exhausted from work and in need of some rest, had requested the boys to fetch the ingredients required for dinner. The boys agreed to do so and left immediately after she gave them the list of items she needed from the store. However, their joyful banter was abruptly interrupted by a piercing scream that came from a nearby alley. The three friends froze, their eyes widening in alarm as they instinctively turned their heads towards the source of the distressing cry. It struck a chord of urgency within them, they instantly recognized that scream and ran towards it, there was no mistaking who it was. As they turned into the alley, they followed the anguished cries until they stumbled upon a shocking scene. It was none other than their classmate Cadis, her face was etched with fear and her eyes pleading for help. She was surrounded by four hooded figures, it was impossible to determine if they were male or female, but Issei and his friends didn't care. Issei. Hey, what do you think you're doing to her? Hooded figure 1. Shut up, twerp, this doesn't concern you, go home like a good boy. Motohama. Like hell it doesn't, we're not just going to stand here and watch while you try to harm her. Mitsuda. Yeah, you picked the wrong girl to mess with, she happens to be one of our classmates. Hooded figure 2. And what does that matter? This girl is gonna be our little plaything, and we'll do as we please with and to her. Issei took a step forward, his fists clenched tightly. His anger burned hot, if there was one thing in this world he couldn't stand it was men mistreating women like they're just toys. Issei. You think you can treat her like an object? Like she's here for your sick entertainment? Not a chance. We won't let you lay a finger on her. His voice boomed with a confidence that surprised even himself. The three friends stood tall, their voices filled with determination as they confronted the hooded figures. Cadis's eyes flickered with a mix of relief and gratitude, knowing that her friends had come to her aid. The air crackled with tension as the two groups faced off, each unwilling to back down. Motohama and Mitsuda flanked Issei, ready to support him in whatever came next. Motohama's eyes narrowed, his gaze fixed on the hooded figures. Motohama. You messed with the wrong crew, you know that. We don't back down from a fight, not anymore. Mitsuda. Yeah, and we've got some moves you've never seen before. You're about to regret ever crossing paths with us. He cracked his knuckles, with a confident smirk on his face. Hooded figure 1 sneered, with disdain. Hooded figure 1. You fools have no idea who you're dealing with. Step aside, or you'll regret it. Issei. Screw you, we won't be intimidated by your empty threats. We stand together, and we won't let you harm our friend. Besides, people like you make me sick, women aren't just some playthings that you can do whatever you please with, there's no way in hell we're backing down. Cadis, her voice trembling yet filled with newfound strength, spoke up. Cadis. Thank you, guys. But be careful. They're dangerous. The tension in the alley mounted, the air thick with anticipation. The clash between these determined friends and the mysterious hooded figures seemed inevitable. In that moment, they all knew that this encounter would change their lives forever. With hearts pounding and adrenaline coursing through their veins, Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda prepared to face whatever came their way, united in their unwavering loyalty and friendship. Hooded figure 2 stepped forward, their voice cold and calculated. Hooded figure 2. You think you can defy us? We are the ones who hold the power here. You're just naive kids playing hero. Motohama. First off, we're teenagers, so get it straight, but regardless we have something you'll never understand. The strength that comes from protecting those who can't protect themselves. Hooded figure 3. You're about to learn a painful lesson, little boys. We thrive on fear, and we'll enjoy watching it consume you. Mitsuda. Oh, we're not afraid. We've faced bullies at school and you're no different from them, you're nothing but bullies hiding behind those hoods. As the tension reached its peak, hooded figure 4 stepped forward, their voice surprisingly calm amidst the chaos. Hooded figure 4. Enough talk. If you won't back down willingly, we'll make you regret crossing our path. Issei. We won't back down, not now, not ever. We'll fight tooth and nail to protect our friend, no matter what. His expression hardened, determination burning in his eyes. It was silent for a moment in the alley, it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop, then in the next moment the hooded figures and Issei and his friends dashed at each other. Issei, Motohama and Mitsuda were clearly outnumbered at the moment, but they thought that if they could get Caddis away from the hooded figures, and if she wasn't too badly injured, she could help them fight back. But they were sorely mistaken. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.